Life is full of interactions, and not all of them are pleasant. At some point, you'll encounter people who disrespect you, whether intentionally or out of ignorance. These moments can be frustrating and even hurtful, but Stoicism offers a timeless roadmap for navigating such challenges with grace, wisdom, and strength. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how others act, we can always control how we respond. Disrespect doesn't have to define your worth or disrupt your peace. Instead, it can become an opportunity to grow, to reaffirm your values, and to stand firm in the face of adversity. In this video, we'll explore 12 ways to handle people who don't respect you, guided by Stoic philosophy. Each approach is rooted in principles that prioritize your inner strength and integrity. Let's discover how to rise above negativity and build a life of composure, respect, and purpose. Chapter 1. The Power of Control. The cornerstone of Stoicism is understanding what lies within your control. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Disrespect from others falls into the category of things you cannot control. What you can control, however, is your reaction. The first step to handling disrespect is not to let it define you. When someone treats you poorly, it's often a reflection of their character, not yours. By staying composed and centered, you show that your sense of self-worth doesn't hinge on someone else's opinion. How do you practice this? By observing your initial reaction without acting on it. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that your response defines who you are, not the disrespect itself. Chapter 2. Set boundaries without losing composure. Respect starts with how you teach others to treat you. Setting boundaries doesn't require aggression or anger. In fact, it's most effective when done calmly and firmly. Imagine someone consistently interrupting you during conversations. Instead of snapping, calmly say, "I'd like to finish my thought before hearing yours." This kind of response is assertive yet respectful, and it leaves no room for escalation. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They show others that while you value kindness and understanding, you won't tolerate behavior that undermines your dignity. Stoicism reminds us to act with reason and clarity, not with impulsive emotion. Every boundary you set becomes a reminder to others, and to yourself, of the respect you deserve. Chapter 3. Understand the source of disrespect. Epictetus taught that people act according to their perceptions of the world. Often disrespect stems from ignorance, insecurity, or misunderstandings rather than malice. Understanding this can help you take things less personally. When someone disrespects you, consider their perspective. Are they stressed, insecure, or projecting their own struggles onto you? This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows you to approach the situation with empathy instead of hostility. This doesn't mean you have to accept the disrespect. Instead, use your understanding to decide how to respond wisely. You might choose to address the behavior, ignore it, or distance yourself from the person altogether. The key is acting based on principles, not emotional impulses. Chapter 3. Master the art of silence. Sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect is no response at all. Silence can communicate strength and composure more effectively than words ever could. When faced with someone trying to provoke you, remember Seneca's advice. It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence. Engaging with someone who disrespects you often gives them the attention they seek. By refusing to react, you deny them power over your emotions. However, silence is not passive. It's an active choice to prioritize your peace over unnecessary conflict. Use it wisely, not to avoid confrontation, but to show that you're in control of the situation and yourself. Chapter 4. Focus on your values, not their opinions. Stoicism teaches us to live in alignment with our core values, regardless of how others treat us. Your self-worth should never depend on external validation. When someone disrespects you, ask yourself, does their opinion matter in the grand scheme of your life? More often than not, it doesn't. Instead of seeking approval, focus on embodying qualities you admire: kindness, integrity, courage, and wisdom. By staying true to your values, you'll naturally attract respect from those who matter and distance yourself from those who don't. The opinions of others become background noise compared to the clarity of living authentically. Chapter 5. Respond with logic, not emotion. Disrespect often provokes an emotional reaction: anger, frustration, or sadness. While these feelings are natural, Stoicism encourages us not to let them dictate our actions. When confronted with disrespect, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this interaction? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my principles? By responding with logic instead of emotion, you maintain control over the situation. This might mean calmly addressing the behavior, walking away, or choosing to ignore it altogether. The goal is not to win, but to act in a way that upholds your dignity. Chapter 6. Practice compassion, but know when to walk away. Stoicism isn't about being unfeeling, it's about being wise. While it's important to approach disrespect with understanding, there are times when the best course of action is to walk away. If someone consistently disrespects you despite your efforts to address it, it's a sign that they don't value your presence. In such cases, distancing yourself isn't weakness, it's self-respect. Walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're prioritizing your peace and well-being over futile conflict. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Chapter 7. Lead by example. One of the most effective ways to handle disrespect is to model the behavior you wish to see. When you treat others with respect, even in the face of their hostility, you demonstrate strength and character. This doesn't mean being a doormat. Instead, it means refusing to stoop to their level. Respond to rudeness with kindness, to anger with calm, and to criticism with grace. In doing so, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated. Leading by example doesn't guarantee immediate results, but over time, it establishes a reputation for dignity and integrity that commands respect. Chapter 8. Embrace the bigger picture. Stoicism reminds us that life is too short to dwell on disrespect. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say, and think. When faced with disrespect, ask yourself, will this matter a week, a month, or a year from now? In most cases, the answer is no. By keeping your focus on the bigger picture, you free yourself from the grip of minor grievances. Instead of reacting to every slight, channel your energy into what truly matters: your goals, relationships, and personal growth. Disrespect from others becomes insignificant compared to the fulfillment of living a meaningful life. Chapter 9. Mastering the Art of Indifference. Epictetus famously taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoicism emphasizes the power of indifference toward external insults or slights. When others disrespect you, their words or actions are external events. It's your internal judgment that gives these events power over you. To practice indifference, remind yourself of the dichotomy of control. There are things within your power and things beyond it. Disrespectful behavior from others falls into the latter category. Treat their actions like the weather. It might be unpleasant, but it doesn't define your character or worth. Chapter 10. Strengthening your inner fortress. Resilience is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The stronger your inner world, the less you'll be shaken by external negativity. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Often the pain of disrespect is magnified by our own thoughts and interpretations. Cultivate self-confidence through introspection and self-awareness. Remind yourself of your values, achievements, and intrinsic worth. By doing so, you create an unshakable foundation that others' disrespect cannot penetrate. Strengthen your inner fortress by practicing gratitude, mindfulness, and self-discipline daily. Chapter 11. Responding with calmness and dignity. One of the hallmarks of a Stoic mindset is the ability to respond to provocations with calmness and dignity. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. When someone disrespects you, resist the urge to retaliate or sink to their level. Instead, respond with composure and grace. This not only protects your integrity, but also disarms the aggressor. A calm, measured response often leaves a stronger impression than a heated reaction. Practice this by breathing deeply and pausing before you respond to any provocation." Chapter 12. Setting boundaries without hostility. Stoicism doesn't teach passivity in the face of disrespect. It's essential to set boundaries, but how you do so matters. Boundaries established with hostility or aggression can escalate conflicts. Instead, communicate your limits assertively yet calmly. For instance, if someone consistently interrupts you or dismisses your input, calmly say, "I would appreciate it if we could ensure everyone gets a chance to speak." By addressing the issue without aggression, you maintain your dignity and command respect.